Hello and welcome to, I guess, the 5th optional quest for Winds of Change hard mode. No promises on whether or not I'll be doing the other ones. It's the 5th one in the wiki, so this is, I guess, the 5th one. Nah, doesn't really matter. Anyway, this is Redemption for the Lost. I would recommend doing this side quest before you start the final confrontation quest. And that's because doing the side quest will give you some additional allies in that fight to just help out. It's not mandatory by any means, but it's nice, so might as well. Again, I've sped up the video and used a concert. This is really only because the quest is quite long. I think it took almost half an hour with the concert, so it might take you, I don't know, 30-35 minutes without one. Really, it's purely for convenience. All you're doing is fighting standard ministry groups and some standard street gang groups, and often enough you can actually get them to take out some of you can get the ministry and the street gang to fight each other, so you have less enemies to deal with in total. Yeah, as I said, it really isn't a difficult quest. The concept is really just there for convenience and speed. Don't think you need that, basically. Aside from that, just follow the path I'm using. There is a wiki link in the description to the quest, but I found that the map that they're providing is only really applicable to the normal mode version. I'm not sure if this is something they've changed at some point. No one updated the map. I've done the normal mode version of the quest quite a while ago, and I think the map was correct then. But for the hard mode version of the quest, the bosses are definitely in different locations than it says on the map. So do not go by the map that is in the on the wiki page in the video description. Go by the path I'm taking, or at least go by the locations of the bosses. I'm not sure if the path I'm taking is actually optimal. I could have probably gone a different way and that would have been better, thinking about it. But yeah, the boss locations themselves, get them from this video. Do not go by the map on the wiki, because I believe that is completely wrong. I think it's the normal mode version and the hard mode bosses are in different locations. Or maybe the normal mode ones are in different locations as well. It might even be random, but yeah. I've done this twice on this character, and both times the bosses were in the exact locations you can see in this video. So yeah, aside from that, you just fight your way through these groups. Even if you die, doesn't matter, you get resurrected. There's no NPCs that need to survive or anything along those lines. You just keep fighting your way through the enemies. If you could tackle Winds of Change so far, then these guys will not cause you an issue. And this side quest only becomes available after you've done a treaty. So that would be defending Tsumai village from the Sensali and later the ministry. And this is the, I guess, first boss I'm doing. Yayoi of the Orders, or Yajoi, something. Anyway, as you approach him, a dialogue triggers and a bunch of Amphar will spawn. You can prepare by putting down protection spirits in advance, and then you just kill the enemies and defeat the boss. Now, some of the bosses will, well, all of the bosses will actually get healed to full before delivering their final lines of dialogue, and then some of them will become your allies and join you, as you can see this necromancer did, and some of them will become hostile, well, not hostile, they will just die because they decided not to join you. You could have probably gone for the next two bosses, the ones I'm doing next, before the Necromancer. I think that might have been faster in terms of the path you're taking. But yeah, the second boss is right here, or I guess from the, I think he's the first one in the quest in the actual quest log. But yeah, he's right up here. He's an assassin boss. And again, as you approach him, there will be a dialogue, and then a bunch of Amphar will spawn, and you kill them, and you get the boss down to 25-ish%, I believe. And you're just fine. This is Watari the Infinite. So again, bring him down, and yeah, he will also join the party. Not all of them do, though. You will soon see that some of the bosses just die. And yeah, aside from that, the next boss is right here. As I said, it might be more prudent to go for these before you go for the Necromancer. On the other hand, they do help in combat, so I guess the Necromancer is probably a more useful ally than the Assassin. But don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. Usually it's the case, but you never know. This is Chao Zong the Inferno. But yeah, there's a standard pop-up group here that you need to deal with first. I'm not even sure if these are Winds of Change enemies, they might not be. Aside from that, for this boss, definitely put down Prot Spirits in advance, because he has some powerful AoEs. And as always, dialogue, enemies spawn, kill the enemies, and after the dialogue is done, the boss will also become hostile. Because the boss has some dialogue, it will usually take a little longer for the boss to become hostile. So his group will be attacking you before the boss is actually done talking. And as you can see, this guy did not want to join us. Next, just follow this path I'm taking, and in retrospect, as I said, now would be probably a better time to take a detour to go for the Necro boss if you're worried about minimizing your walking distance. Because right now you could just do the detour here and get the Necro boss. But comparing, just if you're interested, compare this to the map on the wiki. The map on the wiki is just not correct, basically. And then you want to deal with these groups over here. The Ministry Illusionists, I find, are a worthwhile target to quell quickly, because they often have Keystone Signet, and that can just be quite disruptive to your party. And obviously Elementalists, because of their nasty AoEs, can also cause some issues. Over here we get a Mesmer boss, same deal as before, dialogue, groups spawn, kill the groups, and bring the boss down to about 25%. And yeah. Gao Han of the Rings will also join you. Don't worry, by the way, if the bosses die. You might be able to cap their elite skills at this point, but they automatically get revived, so it's not important, really. Now here, you don't really need to go to the right yet, but you do eventually, so might as well kill these groups now, since they're aggroed anyway. But first you want to go to the left and deal with the next boss. Sadly, the quest doesn't really give you quest pointers to where you need to go, so you do need, if you want to know in advance where to go, you do really need to follow this guide, or I guess another guide, if there is one. I haven't found an accurate map, but there might be one out there, I just haven't looked in the right place. Generally speaking, if you don't follow a guide, you might end up killing every single enemy in this area before you find the last boss. That's what happened to me the first time around when I did this quest, because I was trying to follow the wiki map and found out that I was dead wrong, so I had to search the entire area for the bosses, and I ended up vanquishing the place in the process, so I hope you appreciate the sacrifice. But yeah, generally speaking, not a fun quest without a map, because there's really no indication as to where you need to go. And this is the final encounter. A bunch of Ministry will spawn and eventually become hostile. As I said, it's not a difficult quest. Consider this more of a guide on where to go than a guide on how to actually complete the quest, because knowing where to go is very, very important and helpful in this quest. And as I said, I suggest doing this for the additional allies you get in the final quest. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Bye bye.